All right, good morning, everyone. This is Nick Petro from the National Weather Service in Raleigh. It's Monday, Labor Day, September 4th, 2017, with your weekly impact weather briefing for Central North Carolina. And this briefing covers the period, the rest of this week, right through Sunday, through the 10th of September. So jumping right into the pattern. So what we have set up here right now is high pressure over the Carolinas, and that's giving us pleasant weather for the rest of your Labor Day holiday. Hope everyone enjoys it and has a fun, safe, and enjoyable holiday. So, but the next weather maker is going to be a cold front. That cold front's currently moving across the Great Lakes, Midwest, the Ohio Valley regions, and that front will approach the Carolinas during the midweek period, and it's expected to sweep through on Wednesday. And that will really be this week's only weather maker, will be that front, and the risk for showers and thunderstorms along and ahead of that front. Perhaps some of those showers and storms get in here late Tuesday night, but we do think there's a risk for a few isolated severe thunderstorms during the afternoon and evening Wednesday. I'll touch on that here in a little bit. But then once that front sweeps through, the late week period, we're talking later Thursday into Friday, should be drying out. Saturday should be a beautiful day. High pressure, cooler temperatures, comfortable temperatures, I will add. And then, of course, later this weekend, we'll be keeping actually all week we're going to be keeping our eyes on it. But certainly by this weekend, things will be a little bit better known in terms of what's going to happen with Irma. You can see it there in the lower right, the weather map showing at least the current forecast projected location, perhaps, of Irma for the weekend. I'll touch on that again a little bit more here in a minute. So here is the severe thunderstorm potential. These are courtesy of the Storm Prediction Center, and you can see obviously no thunderstorms expected today. There is a general risk for storms on Tuesday, particularly later in the day, but no severe thunderstorms are expected tomorrow, Tuesday. Wednesday, when that front moves through, that's the day we are expecting isolated severe thunderstorms possible. And let me add a little bit to that here on the next slide. Wednesday's severe thunderstorm threat. So the hazards will include possibility for damaging wind gusts, and the other main hazard will be heavy downpours. So those are the two main things we're concerned about. This is not a setup for supercells and tornadoes like we had on Friday. This is more, if we do get any severe weather, severe winds, this is more of a straight line, very isolated, damaging wind gust situation. But probably the biggest concern is the risk for heavy downpours, which could lead to localized flooding. So not expecting a big deal with this in terms of severe weather, but definitely something we have to watch out for, especially later in the afternoon and evening. Timing, again, while some storms may be possible Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, the main severe thunderstorm risk will be Wednesday afternoon and evening. So that is really, in terms of this week, the main hazardous weather concern for right through the whole week, because then once we get that front through here, things will be drying out later Thursday, and Friday should be dry, Saturday should be dry, so and cooler, I'll add, enjoyable temperatures, comfortable, and then again we turn our attention to the south and seeing what Irma will do. So getting a little bit more detail on Irma. So on the left side of this image, you can see here's the latest as of 11 o'clock advisory on major hurricane Irma. And you can see the track has been shifting, a little bit more westward and a little bit further south track. That's been the trend in the models lately. But there remains a great deal of uncertainty. So once the storm makes its way toward Cuba, you can see how the models on the right, that is a large ensemble of models you can see there. There's dozens of models there on that plot. And you can see the wide-ranging variability and potential solutions. So obviously it's still way too early to see or to track or to pin down exactly what's going to happen with the later days of Irma once it makes its way up towards the southeast. If it even makes landfall, that's still a possibility that it could recurve east of the southeast coast. But obviously the trends are pointing toward a better or greater likelihood of a landfall somewhere in the U.S. coast. So here's some main points I want to convey. Irma remains a major hurricane in the eastern Atlantic. Large forecast uncertainties still exist in the later periods of the forecast, as demonstrated by the ensemble of models that I'm showing above here on the right. No weather impacts are expected from Irma for at least the next 6 days across central North Carolina. So, in fact, aside from Wednesday, Wednesday is the severe thunderstorm risk with the cold front moving through, but other than that, it should be dry weather most of the week. So again, no weather impacts expected for Irma for at least the next 6 days. It's still too early to determine what direct impacts, if any, Irma will have on central North Carolina. Regardless, everyone in hurricane-prone areas should ensure that they have their hurricane plan in place, as we are now near the peak of the season. And finally, continue to monitor official and credible, let me underline it, credible sources for the latest information on Irma. So that's the way. That's what we've got for Irma briefing right now. What about the rest of the tropics? I know there's another system, another area of disturbed weather west of Irma. That one has a pretty good chance, greater than 60% chance of becoming a named system here, and the track looks pretty similar, at least in the first couple days anyway, similar to Irma. So we'll be keeping our eye on that as well. All right, so here's a summary of the briefing I just presented. Isolated severe thunderstorms are possible Wednesday afternoon and evening, with the main hazards being damaging wind gusts, heavy downpours. Those heavy downpours could lead to localized flooding. Now, while some storms may be possible Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, the main severe thunderstorm risk will be Wednesday afternoon and evening. Then we look for weather drying out and turning comfortably cooler for the latter portion of the week and into the weekend. We're closely monitoring Irma and the tropics. It's still too early to determine what direct impacts, if any, Irma will have on central North Carolina. Regardless, everyone in hurricane-prone areas should ensure that they have their hurricane plan in place, as we are now near the peak of the season. Okay, and then I'm going to do this weekly briefing again tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning at 11:30. And additional weather briefings and or webinars will be scheduled for later this week if we need them and as needed. So that's the schedule lineup for the rest of this week. We'll repeat the weekly briefing again tomorrow at 11:30 for those who may not have been able to attend, with the holiday and perhaps people out of town or not available to participate. So we'll do this briefing again tomorrow at 11:30. Use the same link that you used to join this one. It works for tomorrow at 11:30, and then any additional briefings beyond that will be scheduled as needed, and folks will be notified by email of those briefing times and the registration process for those. So that is the weekly briefing for Central North Carolina. Thanks so much for joining.